Okay, back with Amateurs Abroad. Nice face. Back with Amateurs Abroad, and so now I've been here for a couple weeks, but we haven't done a recording, and it's basically I've just been busy and tired, and then time difference, trying to figure out when is a good time for Lisa and I to, because Arizona currently is 8 hours difference from me. The other half of the year it's 9 hours difference because you guys don't do daylight savings, but so we're trying to get all the things worked out, and my background I'm in my room, but it kind of looks like I'm in a prison, so I'm going to work on that too.
Well, it's weird because we went from
like
talking every single day to
right,
not so much because we can't figure it out.
Right, because or else I get home from dinner after a few drinks and I can call you, and that doesn't work well for me. I mean, it's interesting for you, but you're like, are you going to remember this tomorrow?
No, it's to the point now where I'm like, hey, how's it going? You been drinking?
Yeah,
No.
like, have you been out to dinner?
Won't be that
because I don't drink much, and in here I drink way more. But I also think there's more celebrations. Like you meet people, they buy a house. Like, let's celebrate, you bought a house.
Right.
And then there was Carnival. Let's celebrate. There's Carnival. It's like so. Yeah. So the first 4 days I was here, I was pretty much catching up on sleep, unpacking, getting basic groceries, but mainly catching up on sleep. And then our brother got here, and then our friend Chris was here too. So then they were here, and David really wanted to see, our brother wanted to see Lemon House again. And so we went down to Lemon House. He was so excited. We brought the project manager with us, and she flat out said, it's going to take a year. And his little heart broke. I mean, he has a big heart, but you can see it's like the child heart broke because he really wants it to be done. And so, but we know it's a lot of work. It's just going to be a lot of work. So
yeah, but then didn't he get impatient and just started knocking crap down?
Yes. So then there's this. So if you saw the video, if people looked at the video, the kitchen and dining room has this wooden kind of divider with plexiglass in it, and it just is a room divider because they like to divide rooms, I think, for heating and stuff, so they can close it in. And so he's like, we know that's going to come off, and he's like, it's got to come off. So also he would walk down to Lemon House and walk back, which
that's just
I'm not going to do because the hill I can walk down, but walking up, no bueno. Right. And but he did. He was every day he'd go down there. He took Bodie down there one day, and Bodie was jumping around in the backyard over all the overgrown stuff. And so this day he decided he brought a drill, and unfortunately he had a Phillips head and he needed a flathead. And so then he decided to just kung fu fight the partition and knocked it down and sent a little video. I should put it on TikTok or something, but he sent a little video mission accomplished, and it looks really good, but it's just stuff all over and shrapnel and and so, but it looks good. It's nice and open. And then I was like, we're not knocking anything else down, right? We're done? Oh, okay. Right. And so he agreed that we're done. But he went yeah, exactly. Right. I think his kung fu skills couldn't go through stone, which was good. But he was happy with that, and he's real excited. He's coming back in April, so that will be nice. But yeah, so he was kind of bummed that it's going to take that long. So we did that. I want to take him to a lot of the stores to show him. We went to Leroy Merlin, which is the Home Depot kind of equivalent. So much stuff, and so it was really good to be able to see all that. And so we went there, and there was tons of tile, really affordable. We're like, are you kidding? But we have to, in our head, it's by the square meter. And so we're like, okay, how many tiles is in a square meter? And we got our calculators out looking like morons. And then since then, I've gone about 20 minutes outside of town. There's a tile store that has everything, everything. Paper tiles, bathroom tiles, kitchen tiles, floor tiles, tile. I mean, it has everything. It has huge sections of marble and all this, but they never have the price on anything, so I couldn't tell. At the Home Depot-ish place, they had the prices, so we can go, oh, okay, well, to do his whole patio, it's $500 without labor to do the tile, the pavers. So that was awesome, and so that was good. So we went to a bunch of stores. We went to IKEA to kind of scout out stuff for the rental property, because we'll have that on the 28th, and then I could start furnishing it and stuff. And so I want, just IKEA's like was good for us in my house too, just for like basic stuff, you know?
Right. And
Like
then
what
you
we
go
got?
to
We got
that one store we went to. I don't remember the names, but had all that cool stuff that you could like make it more authentic looking. The resale
the one we
place.
went to like daily for garbage
Oh,
cans
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, so Jerry's. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And so, but like kitchen stuff, even rugs, like just because some of the rugs are just, I don't know, like old antique, and then that kind of conflicts with the floor tiles because you'll have mosaics, and then you
Right,
just want
yeah,
something plain, something basic, just all the staples. Just get all the
yeah,
staples, and then you can trade them out over time if you want. So
right. And
that,
it's
so we
like
went to
for
look
a
at that,
rental, it's kind
marked
of a good
down
idea.
what was that?
For a rental too, it's kind of a good idea just to
Yeah,
get basics.
yeah. So we did that, and then we where else did we go? Oh, we went to when we went to Catania, it was the beginning of Carnival, and they had like they were setting up for a musical concert, and so all of a sudden there's this concert in the street, and we're like, what? And then when they left, Carnival happened, and so I was at the first. So there was 3 nights, every other night, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. And it's big like in Catania and in Palermo and stuff like that. But in Mussomeli it's not as huge, right? And it's not like not the masks and the ball gowns and
Right.
all that like stuff. It was more for kids, but people like
What's it
teenagers and
celebrated?
20-year-olds were dressed in little like furry outfits. I'm like, what is happening? And then a lot of masks, but not like the masquerade ball masks, like all
Right.
like the
Halloween.
anonymous kind of
Yeah.
thing on the internet, or like even Mike Myers kind of mask. Like they had full mask, and then they'd have digital things on the mask. So it was more like not an emo thing. What I want to call it, like cosplay, like a
Yes.
cosplay type of thing.
Yeah.
But it was from Mickey Mouse to
No, I saw
just
the Disney
ninjas
and I'm
to,
like, what is this celebrating? I don't understand what this is about.
I don't know either, because they had floats and they were being drugged by these tractors, which were nice tractors too. I'm like, what farms are these at?
Right?
And then the floats were being drugged by them, and like one float was Mickey Mouse, one was Lion King, but then another was some weird thing. I don't know. I don't know what the theme was. I seemed like a free for all, or hey, that float we used 4 years ago, we're going to bring back. So I'm honestly not sure. But in the back of the float, it was a wall of speakers that would just thump through your body, and behind the speakers was a DJ. So most floats had their own DJ. So, and it was that doom 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 music,
Right, right,
and
right.
then
Makes
one float had a confetti cannon, another had a
sense.
smoke machine. Like they're no joke when it comes to their partying and stuff. So the parade went through town. We were at Divinity, which is a glass
Oh,
front and then glass doors. So
yes.
we closed it because we went out and watched for a while, and then we're like,
Yeah.
okay, it seems like the same song, right?
Right.
So we came inside and then closed it, and the doors were vibrating next to each other.
Sure.
And so they came and opened one a little because they were afraid the vibration was going to like shatter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And so then after they went through the main piazza, they went down to Piazza Republica, which is where the
Farmer.
playground area is, and that
Oh,
pop-up bar kind of thing.
yeah.
And they went there, closed the whole thing, and had like a rave kind of dance, and there was
Oh,
like the lights on the buildings, and it was cool. And we
yeah.
didn't stay long, we just stayed briefly, but it was probably till 1 in the morning, and then it ended with bells. Surprise, surprise, bells, bells, bells. um so but that was cool. And so that was 3 nights though. And and one night there was a car, there were signs that said don't park here after 6 p.m, and it went through about 9:30 p.m, so you had generous time. But the foreigners were not reading the signs in
Uh,
Italian, even though there was like there was a no
right.
parking symbol, right? And
Right.
so one car was blocking, and the float couldn't get through because already you know how tight it is, and now they're on a
Oh,
float,
yeah.
right? Float couldn't get through, and so they called the owner of Mussomeli Rooms, and she was calling all the rooms and saying like, is your car out there, is your car out there? And my friend that was staying there said they got the call. They're like, no. Well, I met a lady the next day that said, hey, I got all of a sudden police are at my door saying you're blocking the parade.
Oh my God.
And so she's like, what? And she's in her pajamas. She's like, what do you mean? Because she had just flown in. So she's in the jet lag phase. And she's like, what do you mean I'm blocking the parade? And in the meantime, these guys like lift it, move it, lift it, move it, lift it, move it, enough to where it starts dribbling. Like they're bouncing like basketball, move the car over. They move it over and up, and now it's out of the way.
Well, there you go.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Which also is in theme with exactly. But it used to be 5, now 6 people that have come here have had to have a local move their car for them because they get stuck. So whatever you do not take the short, like it'll say a 3-minute route and a 4-minute route. Do the 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
It's on the outskirts. Don't go through town. Do a 4-minute, look in advance. You won't be able to do it. And so the foreigners have the locals come out and move your car for you. So it's embarrassing for one. It's stressful. Just please go on the outskirts. It's just
we're parked too when we were driving around. The like MapQuest or whatever we were using always took us to the stairs or to a dead end.
Yeah.
Or how are we supposed to
get here? When you have the choice in routes, don't take the fastest route.
Yeah,
ever.
You'll have to turn around and double your time.
And then you can look on the map. If it's going through the center, don't do it. Just take the long, just don't. Because there's enough ways to get where you're going. I know pretty much all the Airbnbs here, and there's an outskirt road that'll get there. You don't have to go through town at all. And Mussomeli Rooms is the place most people stay, and that's a totally easy road to another totally easy road. So if you're finding that things look narrow and scary, do not proceed. Just don't.
Right. So is the piazza all finished? Because when I left,
so the main piazza's finished. They have not turned on. They put like little lights in the marble, and also these are marble pavers. They're not, but they're not polished. But I didn't realize they were marble. They're heavy and thick and like no joke, right? And they were hand done. They put how they put them in, and but the main piazza is all done. They haven't turned on the lights yet, and then they have other LED street lights, and those aren't complete yet. But the piazza's done, and they added benches. They added olive trees and big planters. It looks really good. But guess what's not done? The church parking lot, where I go and turn around my car, because the street is so narrow on my road. You come in, you can park, hey, happy at the house. Then when you leave, back up, go down to the church, turn around, and go out. So you're not backing up through this narrow thing. And when we were in the summer, they had done, they took out all the old pavers. Yeah. They had put gravel down, rebar, and then like, I think a sand layer or something like that.
Yeah, like it was good to go for whatever their next step was.
Yeah, it was all prepped and we could use it and everything. Then they started putting the pavers in. So when I got here, like half of the pavers were in, and again, doing the marble, beautiful. And then every day it'd be like 3 more rows. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have not, the first week I parked in front of the house, not knowing. And then there's a forklift blocking the way and I can't back out. So my car was stuck, which was really funny because my next door neighbor messaged me one day and said, we're being kidnapped. And I was like, we're being kidnapped? And that's how it translated. And I was like,
and I'm the one who
like, do I put a cape on? Like, what do I do? Right. And so I put the translate again into another thing and it said hostage. We're being held hostage. I'm like, oh, because her car, my car, we couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we're not being kidnapped. And so we're being held hostage because we wouldn't move. So we're being held hostage. We couldn't move. So then now I couldn't get my car out. And so then I went to go with a friend somewhere and she calls me and she never calls me. I don't speak Italian. And she, so why call me? And she calls me, she's yelling something. I thought she was saying that Bodhi was howling or something and with me gone, but then all of a sudden I pick up the car and I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, WhatsApp. She goes, no, WhatsApp, Messenger. I'm like, okay. And I looked on Messenger and she had messaged me that the forklift is gone. You can move your car. So I haul up there, move the car down to the piazza, and I haven't parked by my house since.
I love
The
that this
entire
is an
time I've not been able to park. So they have finished it with all the papers. They sanded half of it, and then Carnival came on Friday. So that means they stopped working on Wednesday. So they didn't work. So Wednesday was half day, and they didn't work Thursday, Friday, and they have not worked since. And it's just sanding the other half. And they have a pallet of marble I can't get through. So I have a parking space in front of my house, and I can't get there. It's so annoying. And I rented a larger car so that I can get all the decorations and stuff.
Right.
And I'm not carrying that from the piazza every day. Like, what's the point of that? And even I almost got another TV, and I was like, I'm not carrying a TV up from the thing in this big, huge box, and I look like a praying mantis. And then obviously someone will help me because everyone's so nice. But then I was like, then I look like an idiot, and I can't speak the language, and it's just no, I'm not.
Awesome.
But it looks really pretty.
Well, they got 100 days. I'm there in 100 days, so they got 100 days to figure it out.
That's what they have to get done in 100 days. And that's crazy that's when you'll be here. And I really love the project manager. I cannot say I love her enough because she's really cut through a lot of the crap in that there's a lot of markups and stuff, especially if you're a foreigner and you don't know the prices. And she knows the prices, and she goes and gets 3 quotes. It's harder for us to get 3 quotes because we don't know 3 people to give us a quote, you know, and there's not a real thing. So she knows the people. She'll get 3, 5, whatever quotes. I had my boiler fixed, and the first quote. So I have an old boiler that looks like a locomotive under the house, and they replaced it with a tankless heater, but it's for the whole house. I have all the radiators, but I needed to get that, and so the quotes that were coming in were $4,000, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then I got a quote, another quote, and another quote, and there was $2,700. He did a great job. It's all done. For the equipment and to install.
Oh, okay.
So for this, it's a big, probably 4 feet by 3 feet, tankless thing. And so to install, to take away the locomotive, which heaven knows how old that was. And to take that away, and then to make sure all the radiators were, fixed. I think there were 2 that weren't working. So $2,700, which, was so much better than $4,000. So worth her weight in gold. And that cost me that, and I had the electric trip, and the power company had to come out, and they I had to get an electrician to fix something that the contractor did. And so her doing those 2 services for me were $60 or €60, and I saved so much money.
Yeah. Now, don't you have a water issue?
I'm so happy. And she's awesome. She's wonderful. I really love her. So she's going to do all of our projects. I'm really happy.
That's awesome. Is she helping you with the water? You said you had a water issue.
Yeah, the water issue I'm not happy about. The water issue, remember when that guy came and screamed at me, and I was like, F you, bye? And then, because he was just yelling at me. And he was showing me water was coming out, but it was nowhere near his house. So I'm like, whatever. I called the contractor. He went and met with him, and then he came back, and he goes, oh yeah, the water is draining on his street, and he's mad. I'm like, and it had been raining. And I was like, well, that's what it does. And he goes, yeah, it's a city problem. That is the last I heard of the contractor, because he knows he messed something up, and I'm eventually going to find out. And that was in September. So now I come back, and he gets all angry again. He didn't come here and call me or anything. He went to the agency, the real estate agency, and told them. So then I had a plumber come out, and it turns out when they put in the kitchen, they put the drainage thing for the sink onto the street, not tapped into the sewer line, onto the street. So when I wash dishes and stuff, it goes right in the street, which does go down in front of their house. So it's not right, but if he had not yelled at me, it could have been fixed back in September. So it was the contractor totally just put in the kitchen and didn't give a rat's. And so I'm not happy about that. I did withhold funds because of the, I make sure he did all the work and stuff. Yeah. And so I'm not out money, but I'm really annoyed. I can't use my sink right now until it gets resolved. So the resolution was I had to hire a technician to take photos of the outside and where the sewer can be tapped into. he had to do measurements, all that, submit a proposal. I went and signed a, like, not even triplicate, like 5 documents for him to submit to the commune, to the like city hall kind of thing. So they're submitted with them. So that they're submitted with them. They have to say it's okay. Then the water company needs to say it's okay. And then I have to hire someone to cut through the sidewalk, essentially, old stone. I have to hire someone to cut through. The pipe will go on the outside of the house, then go underground and tie into the sewer line. And then they have to repair the street. I was like, oh my God, how much is this going to cost? Right. So they think it's going to cost about €1,000. The technician costs €300. And then but what I subsequently found out was that I pay for the street to be cut open. They lay the pipe, they fix it. Then an inspector comes. If the work's been done properly and things are level and all that, then the city will reimburse me for the contractor. So I'll just, ultimately, I'll only have to pay for the pipe on the outside of the house.
Right.
And then once it reaches the street, all that they will reimburse me for. But they are like, it's Italy. They'll take, like, don't expect a check tomorrow. So I will track that and see how long that takes.
That's a big deal, though.
So now I'm using the sink in the one we used when we first got here. That's like the wet bar kind of sink, which I guess was the kitchen that they used, because it wasn't plumbed. It wasn't plumbed to go to the sewer. So I'm kind of feeling a little Downton Abbey, because that was the
servants' quarters,
quarters. And I bet if you remember, there was an oven hood there and there's a gas line in there and all that. They prepared the meals there, and then the kitchen was just the dining room. There was no kitchen there before. So I think that was the only kitchen. Which is so weird, because it's so dark. Like, not dark as in bad, but it's like a slanted ceiling, and it's not it's as open and bright as the kitchen you have now. Yep, I agree. But if it was like a noble family living here, then they didn't care if you're slanted. Just make my food and come out. You know, like whatever. Yeah. Gotcha. So it's been interesting. I've learned a lot. And then next time, let's talk about, I've met with some people, met with the mayor, and met with, I might be on a group that I'll tell you about. So I'm getting myself into, not trouble, but getting myself involved, which is good. But at the same time, I'm like, I might be over my head. So we'll talk about that next time, though. All right. Sounds good. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Ciao. Bye.